about page number 8. Now, we just finished up talking about the upfront work, which included the application, and we talked about how we had to actually make sure they can afford it. But you know, after you do your upfront work as far as the application, after you've done that investigation and they're meeting your criteria, your standards, and you're extending that credit, you extend that credit with a contract. Now, a contract's very, very important in a couple of ways, and you see some of the information on page number 8. But here's the thing, guys. A contract, you have to understand something about people. A lot of people, especially a lot of people, like when I teach this in a public arena, like in a seminar, or I go into a credit company and I teach this program, a lot of people in collections believe that if you borrow money on time, or if you buy a car, if you finance furniture, any of these things you do, that if you say you're going to pay your payment on the 20th, then you should do it. So pretty much as a collector, most people believe that if you say you're going to do this, you're going to pay me, you're going to give it back at this time, you should do it. But you got to understand, that's not necessarily the prevailing thought. You know, one of the things that we really believe in and teach at my company, at this company, and with the people who work here, it's all about being an architect of excellence, meaning having the outlook to understand that you got to do things in congruent with the right way to take care of others. You got to be congruent with that. You've got to. It's an us thing. It's not an I thing. Now, with that said, you got to understand that not everybody believes that. Not everybody believes you should pay on time. You should worry about us. A lot of people say me, me, me. All right. Now, here's the thing. If we just lent money or sold a car or financed a dishwasher, basically on a handshake, and then I call you and I say, hey, you know, it's time to go ahead and pay that payment. You said you paid it last Friday. You're going to say, if you don't believe like me, something along the lines of, well, I'll pay it when I get it, man. And you're going to fully believe that that's the right thing to say. So what it comes down to with credit extension and credit and collections is you cannot match belief system for belief system. In other words, research shows, are all a product of where we're born, when we're born, and the culture we grew up in. Culture is not national, it's not regional, it's not racial. This house will have a different culture than the next door neighbor. Remember when you were a kid and you went to little Johnny's house and you looked at his family and you said, these people are weird in here. Little Johnny said the same thing about your family. Research shows that we all operate through one or more of 8 different belief systems, ways of seeing the world. Each of those belief systems has its own morals, values, ethics, versions of good and bad, right and wrong. You got to understand, a lot of those belief systems don't necessarily mean or think that just because you said you would pay it on the 20th, they really have to. It's necessary. It's right. They think a different way about it. Okay. So with that in mind, if we're collecting based on our belief system versus their belief system, we have nothing but conflict. Because in belief systems, there's no right and wrong. There is what there is. You believe the way you believe, they believe the way they believe. Neither one of us is right. It just is what it is. Neither one of us is wrong. It just is what it is. So here's what we have to do. We have to come up with an agreement, and we call that agreement a contract in collections or also in credit extension, but that contract has to be an ironclad agreement on how we agree to do business. Now the law also makes us do this. We have to, whatever we're going to enforce, late charges, penalties, fees, whether you pay legal fees, you know, if I had to sue you, whether you pay collection fees, if I had to do collections efforts, everything has to be clearly stated in that contract. So what your contract is an ironclad agreement that says exactly how we agree to do business. Now, we're no longer using belief system to belief system, we're using a written agreement on how both of us agree we're going to handle this. Now, once you've got that agreement, then what you would do is you would sit down with that individual and you go over that agreement. You can't just legally say, here, sign this. Because if you do that, and they don't understand, they can't read, then if it ever went to court, and once the court is aware that they can't read or didn't understand, now you're going to end up with nothing. So you want to take the time to go over that contract point by point, step by step, and make sure the customer understands what they're getting into. They have to know the exact relationship. And for instance, if you borrowed money from me, you would hear something along the lines of, you've got 25 payments of $350 for a total balance of. Your payments are due on the 15th. Your payment amount is. We do not take partial payments. So if your payment amount is $350 and you have a $25 late fee because we don't take partial payments and we don't have a grace period, late fee is due at the time of the payment, then your payment is going to be $375. Now, and so you go down. If we have to actually take legal action to recover this money, if you're in breach of contract and you don't know about the state, and we do legal action, you pay for all legal expenses. All this is in there, guys, all of it. And the representative would go over each and every point with you. Then when he or she gets to the end of the contract, they'll look you in the eye and they'll say, will you do that for me? Now, here's the thing. The only thing you accept at that point is, yes, I will. Yes. There is no, I'll do my best, I'll try, I'll do what I can. Guys, if you got to fight somebody to extend them credit, what's it going to be like to get it back? So if they're not willing to say, yes, I will, then you don't want to lend them the money or extend the credit. Now, here's the thing. Once they say, yes, I will, research shows, psychological research shows, when we go over this contract and you tell me, yes, I will, because you committed to it, I get 40% instant compliance from you because you committed to it. My collections just got 40% easier for that person. So, here's the thing. If I call you later on, you passed your due date, and I say, hey, this is Tony. Hey, your account was due on the 15th, and I hadn't heard from you receive a payment. What time of day are you going to take care of this thing? Now, you might say something like, well, I'll be on there Friday. And I'm going to say, now, Mr. Johnson, when you borrowed this money, do you remember what you agreed to? Well, yeah, I agreed to pay you. And? Well, and if I couldn't, I'd call you. Okay, so is there a problem there? I mean, is there something wrong, something I don't know about? Because I must have missed the call. I didn't get the call. Well, I didn't call you. So will you call me in the future? You agreed to pay, call, or come see me about it. Will you do that in the future? And they're going to say, well, yeah. See, here's the thing. As a collector, you have the moral high ground because they actually committed to what's on paper. In other words, they committed to that contract. The paperwork, the contract itself, the physical contract gives you the ability to sue your customer and get the court system to help you if you need it. The commitment on that contract, the clear understanding and the commitment to that understanding, that's what helps you collect that money so much easier. Because now it's not belief system against belief system. It comes down to it doesn't matter how you believe. This is what we agreed to. And you looked me down and said you would. That's what gives you that power.